All right, so I'm back. The technical difficulties with my phone, so we're just gonna call this part two. All right, so again, I was saying that this is not a sermon or anything like that. It's just, I like to share from time to time how the Bible also speaks in terms to some of the situations we go through, and experience is one of them. So in Job 12:12, it says, well, let me go up a little bit. Let me just start from verse 4. I'm just going to read it. I am one mocked by his friends who called on God, and he answered him. This just and blameless who is ridiculed. A lamp is despised in the thought of one who is at ease. It is made ready for those whose feet slip. The tents of robbers prosper, and those who provoke God are secure in what God provides by his hand. But now acts of the beasts, and they will teach you, and the birds of the air, and they will tell you, or speak to the earth, and it will teach you. And the fish of the sea will explain to you. Who among all these does not know that the hand of the Lord has done this? In whose hand is the life of every living thing, and the breath of all mankind? Does not the ear test words, and the mouth taste its food? Wisdom is with aged men, and with length of days understanding. Wisdom, experience, wisdom is with aged men. That means these men are experienced. You are experienced. That means you have experienced some stuff. So when the same thing keeps coming back around, you understand what it is, and now it's more familiar to you. So now wisdom kicks in. She teaches you how to make the best choice. She teaches you the difference between right and wrong. Wisdom will calm you down. Wisdom will slow you down. Wisdom will have you thinking before you react. That's wisdom, because it takes somebody with some serious wisdom to understand how to flow, even in the spirit. How to answer a question that you don't know, had the slightest clue about. Wisdom will tell you, let me go look that up. I don't have the answer for you right now, but let me go look that up. But a foolish man will just give you an answer. He'll just tell you, oh, then I think you're supposed to do it like this, because that's what it means. Yeah. And then if you put this over here, and if you put that over there, then you got it put together. But no. Wisdom teaches you how to break something down and explain it. Wisdom will also teach you how to tell your story from your experience. And that's what people need to hear. People need to hear your story from your experience, whether it's good, bad. But I feel like no experience is really bad to tell. You went through something. You would have had the slightest idea that you had to go through it. That's why God don't prompt us with experience. He don't tell us your experience for the next 9 months is going to be that you ain't got no money. No. For the next 9 months, when you're going through it and your financial situation looks rocky and your financial situation ain't getting better, you praying, you consulting with God. You on your face, you on your knees, because you need for God to show you, give you some wisdom about how to use your finances, because they just don't look right. When you come out of that, now you get to teach somebody how you saw yourself going rock bottom and your money was looking funny. But during the trial, during the storm, God introduced you to somebody or to something that allowed you to get a little bit more knowledge on how to handle your money. And now you're handling your money the right way. Somebody needs to know that. Somebody needs help with that. Your experience could teach someone else how to budget their money, how to make their money grow. That's what experience is here for. Wisdom is with the aged man. Those are our grandparents, great-grandparents, You know, even our own parents. They know real history. That's what we sit around and we learn from. History. That's going all the way back into those days and saying, nah. Some years ago, y'all wouldn't have been able to do that. Grandma would have told you to ranch around here and get her this tree off this branch off this tree, and she'd whipped you right where you stand. It's called child abuse nowadays, so you just can't do that. That was some discipline back then, where you knew you wouldn't touch that cookie, or you wouldn't steal that no more. You wouldn't go hang out with the wrong crowd no more. I believe experience could have been taken in another way, because the experience that our grandparents had today, it's modern discipline. Our parents not disciplining us and chastising us like how our grandparents did, or how our grandparents did them, and how their parents probably did them, or God forbid, how they were done in the days of slavery, which was worse than any discipline that we can get. But it will teach us how to discipline our children for these days the right way. We understand they got all these laws put together of the closed fist, open hand, child abuse. Can't hit them on their back, got to hit them on their bottom. And even sometimes when you hit them on their bottom, they complain about that too. That's child abuse too. You just don't know. But if we had that discipline that we experienced when our parents was growing up, I believe the world would be in a better place. But experience teaches us, right? It says experience is a good teacher. So they took all that away. So now you got to discipline your children how you see fit, but within the realm of the law. So that means your child can curse you out. Your child could tell you that they gonna shut their room door after you told them that ain't no closed room doors in my house, because you ain't got no privacy till you can get out and do it on your own. But the world says they do have privacy. They should be able to be in privacy. They should be able to close their doors. But that's gonna be another subject for later, because I got a lot to say about that one. But I'm just talking about experience here. Who was your experience for? That's the second question. The first question was, now what do you do with it? And as Job 12:12 says, wisdom is with aged men, and with length of days comes the understanding. So your experience will eventually give you wisdom the longer you're in that experience, to understand what you went through and how you came out. You'll get that lesson. Remember what I said? The Vernon Law quote said that experience is a hard teacher because she gives the test first, the lesson afterward. It is when we face difficult situations in life, we realize the truth and wisdom behind the words of the learned and the elderly. Of the learned. What does that mean? We realize the truth and wisdom behind those who already been through it. The learned. And the sound wisdom of our elderly, who may not have experienced it, but they got some wisdom that'll show you how to get through it, that'll teach you how to go through it, and that'll show you how to come out of it. So we got to be real careful with our senior citizens, our elderly. Watch how you talk to them. But the second question is, now who was your experience for? Your experience was for those that come into your circle, those who want to hang out with you, those who start to hanging around you, and they start to following you. They going through something that you probably don't already been through. So now it's up to you to continue to be transparent. Tell your truth. Tell your story. so that they'll learn too what steps it took. Now, going through your experience, you may have had to try it over and over and over and over again. You may have went through the test and trial, the test and the trials, and just couldn't see your way out. But boom, magically, all of a sudden it happened. So now you're able to tell somebody, it didn't happen like this, like in these steps for me. But these are the steps it took me to get to. It just took me a little longer. I can give these steps right now. You know? And why do you believe you had to go through? Why do we believe we had to go through? Well, I mean, I believe I had to go through everything I went through to be in these last and evil days here in this time of 2020, so that I can be a voice for the Lord. I believe that everything that I had to go through was meant for me to walk down a path where I could bring some children. I could show some children the light after what I've been through. I believe what I went through was for a people who don't know me, who have never experienced me, who have never even been under the sound of my voice. That's going to take on to what I said, not just in my book, but in my videos, and they're going to use it to see themselves in situations, and they'll say, wow, Marie came out by doing this. And what if I just do that? Because you got to remember, when we go through, it takes a toll on us. We have to stay strong, and sometimes you can't in certain situations, depending on what it is you're going through. Because things that you experience can kill you. They can tear you down. They can make you stop believing. They can cause you to do a total U-turn and stop believing in God as your Lord and Savior. Stop believing that Jesus Christ died on the cross for your sins, and 3 days later he rose again with all power in his hand. So that means when he rose with the power, he gave it to you. So that means you got all power. After your experience is dead, your experience, we lay that in the tomb. That past life that Marie had, I lay that in the tomb. In that tomb, wrapped all up in sackcloth and just laying there. Because that's who I used to be. That's what I went through. Then when you open that tomb back and you see that ain't none of that stuff there, you see that Marie ain't in that place no more. That's because after I let it all die, God raised me up out of it. And what I experienced then was all power. Now I got power over the mindset of fear. Now I got power over my past becoming, staying in my presence. Now I got power to move. I got power to talk about. I got strength to speak on the situation that I experience. And it's only when you get power after your experience, you get a certain kind of power after that. That power gives you life. It gives you a voice to now be able to tell your story. Experience is a good teacher. It is. And I must say, I thank God for what I've experienced, because I've experienced more than a person should ever experience. But I'm still not like those in other countries. Because should we forget about them? We know we experienced some stuff, but they experiencing some stuff. So we have to get over what we've gone through, the things that we've experienced. And we have to be able to tell our stories for our generations upon generations that are coming, in these nations that we're building. They need to know that we can still survive through this. They need to know that there's still a way out. They need to know that there's light at the end of that tunnel. God said, just follow it. Follow his voice. Stay in silence. It's going to be heavy. But you got to do it. So why do you believe you had to go through? As I elaborated on that, because somebody else needed to know that this is only but for a moment. And once God starts to move him, we got to move with him. Because God can bring you out of a situation you didn't even have power to come out of yourself. Then he'll show you. He'll show you. So why do you believe you had to go through? Let me read this real quick too. Again, it's not a sermon. I always like to refer to the book, which allows me to see how it was handled biblically. So Matthew says in chapter 5, verse 10 through 12, he says, blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are you when they revile and persecute you and say all kinds of evil against you, falsely for my sake. Rejoice and be exceedingly glad, for great is your reward in heaven. For so they persecuted the prophets who were before you. So they persecuted the prophets that already had been here. You think you're not going to be persecuted? In your experience, people are going to lie on you. They're going to think they could tell your story better than you. Trust me, I know. They're going to tell you that you lied about your story. You lied just to get attention. But the people that continue to say that are always the ones that don't know no better, that don't know nothing. You ain't been through nothing like that. You may have been through something, but you ain't been through nothing like that. How dare you tell somebody else that they're lying about their situation until you have gone through it? You have no right to tell somebody else what they've been through. Now, if it's a lie, it'll come to fruition. But after all this time, me telling my story, the story stays the same. It hasn't changed. If you still want to believe that my story a lie, then that's on you. I don't even like remembering my story. A lot of it I hate to even have to remember. But again, I realize this is not about me. This is about somebody else who needs to come out. Somebody else who needs help. Somebody else who needs to know that there's life after death. And I wrote that in my book, There's Life After Death. You experience something so terrible in life that it feels like all around you, everything is dead. But again, now that that experience is over with, you have to realize, who was it for? What are you going to do with that experience? Well, you're going to tell it to somebody who needs to hear it. Because you always, everything you go through, just think about it. You always find yourself in front of somebody else who similarly went through that. And it becomes a conversation. Because we don't know. We never know what people are going through. All we know is God always puts us in the right place at the right time for those who need to hear our story. If that's what he's doing, tell your story. So, blessed are you when they revile and persecute you. I'm still blessed. You can bash my name. You can slander my character. You could defame my name. You can say whatever you want to say about me. You can call me a liar. You can call me twisted. You can say that I didn't never go through nothing. You can say all that you want. You can say she want a lot of attention. She make me sick. You can say whatever you want to say about me, but I'm still blessed. For great is my reward in heaven, because I don't have to come back and prove to you what I've been through. I won't do that. I won't justify what I've been through for you. I'll tell my story. And if you have questions about my story, you got questions about my story, but I'm not going to sit back and allow you to ridicule me and persecute me, which if you do, that's your choice. But it's not going to be an argument between me and you, because I never argue with somebody about their story. Like, you wasn't there. How do you know what it did to this person over the years? Mentally, this person could have just been living like how I was just living. But I was going through it every single day in my mindset, because I had to remember. And then going through it with family, and some didn't know, some did know. And having to kind of prove myself got a little bit too much for me. So I did what I thought was best for me and my kids. I was already going through it in relationship. I didn't need no extra. So I cut myself off from the family. I stopped going around. Because every time I would go around, the same thing happened. Same thing. But family, or might I say people on the outside looking in to tell you, but you shouldn't stop going around family for that. And this and that. Some people handle situations better than others. You best believe that if a person's mental is not right, you might want to leave them to themselves. While they calm and relax, you might want to leave them to themselves, because it used to be a time where it was never calm with me. It was always kicking in doors and fighting and all types of stuff. And God showed me. He showed me through somebody else. And I started saying, ooh, baby. I started judging her situation as if I didn't have a situation. And God said, that was you. That was you. So you can't judge her because you didn't know how to control yourself either at the time. Now I was able to witness to her. I was able to tell her, baby, I was in the same spot. But here's what I think you should do. Here's what I would like for you to try. She's a very good friend of mine today. Has a family, is married. And I would like to believe that not just me, but probably others around her too that were talking to her. But I know I got to her. So we have to tell our stories based on what we've experienced in life. Everybody experiences something different. Sometimes people experience the same things. When you experience the same things and you can sit in the same circle and you can talk about it, that's love. That's love. That's love. Y'all sharing with one another, consoling one another, comforting one another. A group thing. All I'm saying is we have to be very mindful. Then, while you've mastered and figured out why you believe you had to go through, then now what did you learn about what you went through? What did you learn? And how can you help someone else? What did you learn about your experience? This is everything that you learned. This is the lesson after. Remember that? And let me remind you one more time. Experience is a hard teacher because she gives the test first, the lesson afterward. So you at the lesson afterward now. What did you learn that you can share with the rest of the world and people around you who have gone through similar or who are going through similar? How can you help someone else? Well, I'll tell you how. I'm gonna stop saying that this ain't no sermon. It's not a sermon, but I'm gonna give you some scripture on what I believe can help. Because sometimes you got to, if you're consulting with God and you say that you need God in the midst of this, then you reading His Word teaching. In Romans 3:23 says, and I've been reading out the New King James Version, guys. You know, woman thought loose. So 3:23 says, okay, let's start from verse 21. But now the righteousness of God apart from the law is revealed, being witnessed by the law and the prophets. Even the righteousness of God through faith in Jesus Christ to all and on all who believe. For there is no difference. For all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. 24. Being justified freely by His grace through the redemption that is in Jesus Christ. 25. Whom God set forth as a propitiation by His blood through faith. If I said that wrong, I'm sorry. To demonstrate His righteousness, because in His forbearance God has passed over sins that were previously committed. To demonstrate, 26, to demonstrate at the present time His righteousness, that He might be just and the justifier of the one who have faith in Jesus. Verse 23, for all have sinned and fall short of the glory. What did you learn? How can you help someone else? You first got to let them know that what they're going through has purpose. There's a purpose for why you're going through. And rather you feel like it's good or bad, we all have sinned. Everybody sinned and falls short of the glory. Everybody. Especially in our experience. We don't turn our back on God. We don't went the opposite way. You know, we don't turn our back on life. We don't even want to live no more. We don't hurt ourselves so much. And then on top of that, because we didn't love ourselves enough, we took whatever love everybody else gave us. Well, whatever expression of love everybody else gave us, because I don't think it was real love. But when you've experienced pain to a degree, when you experience so much pain, you can easily recognize love. You can. I can recognize love right now in my life. And I get a lot of love from the people in my community. And it's a new community. And they call me queen. They buy nice stuff for me. I get a lot of stuff in the mail from people that I don't even know. But I would like to believe that I'm touching someone's life just by being transparent. See, people think that you got to always get a book and write down what you want to say from top to bottom. Sometimes you just need to get on a live or get on your camera and just record something and just tell people what it is. Tell them how you felt when you was going through, what you wanted to do when you was going through, how you was impatient, how you just wanted it to just be done and over with. Then tell them how you came out of it and how you can help them. I'll give you one. Experience. The noun version of it is a practical contact with and observation of facts or events. Everything that you went through, everything you observed are your facts. You know, those are your events. And the verb part of it is to encounter or undergo an event, the verb, which is the form I'm talking in, experience, as the verb. What you encountered through life, what you went through in life, what you're undergoing in life right now is your experience. And your experience has to be truly observed in order to understand. So when I say experience is a good teacher, a lot of times God's not setting us up. People not telling us that we're about to go through an experience. He ain't saying today you're going to go through this. And well, he ain't saying it to us. We just going through. And all of a sudden it becomes our newness. It becomes our new storm. It becomes our new way of life. Marriage is an experience because now you're experiencing something new in togetherness with somebody. Even getting into a relationship. Is you experiencing something new with somebody? This is going to be an experience. It depends on you two how that experience goes. And you're not going to know everything. And you not going to know what to say all the time. But as you keep going along, you'll start to learning one another a lot more. And then that becomes your experience. Your experience is that if you say this to him, he gonna come back this way. Then you're not gonna like it. So you're gonna come back that way. So experience has taught me, don't even say it. Just, let it be. And when you want to talk, we'll talk. But right now I got a place to be and so do you. Mine is I got to make sure I do what God say do. Yours, I don't know what your purpose is. So those are experiences. We have to make sure that we don't keep our experiences from others. And this is the second part because my phone was kind of crazy, so I'll label both of them part 1 and part 2. But like the song say, experience is a good teacher. Take someone like Marie to know. Yes. Experience is the best teacher. Because again, experience gives you the test first. Then you get the lesson afterward. So, if ever you in a rut, just remember. Today's topic was experience is a good teacher. And you ask yourself those 5 questions. What do you do with the experience you've now gained? Who was your experience for? Why do you believe you had to go through? What did you learn from that experience? And how can you help someone else? Okay? What do you do with that experience? Do you keep yourself sheltered? Do you keep yourself hidden because you don't want people to know? Who was the experience for? Do you truly believe that experience was just for you? Because every time when you go through something, you now have you have a story to tell. Even if you're telling it to your best friend, even if you're sitting with your girls and just telling your girls, you know what I went through, and it was so hard to come out of it, but such and such, you helping them, because they may see that. They may go through it one of these days and they remember that Marie said this is how she handled it. Why do you believe you had to go through? Because you're going to always have an attachment, an assignment in life. Somebody else is always going to be attached to you and assigned to you. You're going through that for them. You're going through that for a nation of people who God is going to attach to you. Children who God is going to attach to you that you need to show the light to. And you can't be afraid. Because everybody has a story. What did you learn? What did you learn from it? What was the lesson afterward? And how can you help someone else? And the three scriptures I had was Job 12:12, but I read up a little bit in each one of them. Matthew 5:10-12, and then my favorite, Romans 3:23. Because you can try to judge me all you want to, but we all have fallen short of the glory. We all have. And some of us still are. So let's remember that our experience is a good teacher, but our experience is always going to be for someone else. It's always going to be to bring someone else out or to give somebody else an educated, knowledgeable lecture or lesson about how they too can come out their situation. Let's stay transparent in this world. And let's definitely be truthful. Because people are looking for somebody they can trust. They're looking for somebody they can trust. Are you somebody that people could trust? Well, until the next time, this is part 2. Make sure you tune in to Peach Fuzz. I'll probably start doing some live videos as soon as I can catch a break when it comes to work, because I work midday hours, so, by the time I'm asleep for most of the morning, but by the time I get off, it's just too late. So I'm trying to get these Peach Fuzz videos up as much as I can. Oh, I'm writing. This my throne room. This my throne room secret book. And every time God gives me something, I write it down in here. So stay tuned, because I got some more exciting stuff coming, and I'll probably go live with that. And that's my dog. I guess it's time for me to go, y'all. So again, www.misspeaches.com, MSPEACHES, and make sure you get the book, Nothing Less Than the Truth. Push back, not held back. See you guys later.